We're joining you this evening in our brand new podcast studio, which is located on the west side of the Great River Ex in the great city of Exeter, in a secret underground bunker, right, Tony?
Certainly is, Rob, certainly is.
Thank you, sir. I don't want to be flippant about this, but the fact is, guys, the leaders, not the members, but the leaders of the Labour Party, the Green Party, and the Lib Dems are destroying our city, okay? And you can see that all around us. The charm of the city is sapping away. We've got house overbuilding. You know, it used to be brownfield, but now it's on greenfield. They're always chiming in about the concerns about CO2, but guess what? We've got all the cars coming in from all the overdevelopment, right, Tony?
Yeah, we certainly have.
Hotels, the Exeter Airport Hotel and some others in Exeter are being taken up by people coming into the country without our invitation. We don't even really have any choice on our dime. And the weeds, well, let me ask you guys a question. Would you quit your job if you're supporting your family and leave your family to starve? Well, that's what happened 3 years ago when they passed a motion to eliminate the use of glyphosate and didn't have an alternative. That's why you see the weeds up. So those guys, those three parties, have a lot to count for. So we need a complete reform of our political landscape. We need to replace all those that are responsible for what we see around us with new, local, fresh voices. People like Tony, and people like Neil have been here all their lives that know the issues. Right, Doug?
Yeah. I've got to take you up on the weeds. People think it's a trivial matter, but if it carries on the way it is destroying the roads, the pavements, and in the future, it's going to cost a lot of money to rectify that.
I totally agree. So let's kick it off here. Again, I want to reinforce we have two great councillors here. They defeated Labour. In fact, we defeated Labour all over Exeter, didn't we, guys?
Yeah.
And again, for those who are new to the podcast, my great friend and neighbor Neil is the DCC councillor from Alphington and Cowick, and his brother Tony, isn't that great? Is the DCC councillor from Exwick and St. Thomas. And so tonight we're going to focus on what they're doing, and we're also going to focus on how young people are struggling. We have a great young guest here, Josh Chisling. And stay tuned for later on in the podcast where we will focus in on who won the Weed of the Week award. So tonight you're going to be amazed, shocked, riveted to your seats throughout the whole show. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure that sound was meant to come out then on that one,
I'm
but
not sure why the crickets are there either. But anyway,
the crickets.
I think our producer's getting a couple chuckles.
He's getting excited over there.
Yeah, maybe he's part of the opposition.
Well, he's not trained, is he?
Anyway, so as we get rolling here, our act together, right, Tony? Anyway, give us your comments. We'll respond to them as soon as we can through Facebook and YouTube. And on that, Neil has a YouTube account that we're streaming into. Please subscribe to him and like him and get your notifications. Tell your friends, spread the word about what we're doing here. We're going to be talking about local issues that affect you. And if you're really concerned about what you see, join the Reform Party. It's only £25 to save this country from what you are seeing around you. We need everyone. It's absolutely important. It's all hands on deck to restore our great city and our great country. So here we go, guys. Okay, we're supposed to get a little applause there, guys. But anyway, Neil, not the crickets.
Oh, that's the crowd.
So I've kept a bit quiet, Doug, because the cameras are not switching. Just see the number and then press the button. Okay, we're still having technical difficulty. I don't know why, but it will be sorted out.
Perfect. So, Neil, how about introducing Josh and just briefly mention how you met him, and then Josh can tell us a little bit about him. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, Josh wrote away. He finally wrote to different people. I'll let him explain it all, but it's good to have Josh join us tonight. He's 21 years old. He's got his full life story here to present, and I look forward to him on this podcast.
Hello, my name's Josh Chisling, obviously. So, I was born into a very dysfunctional household, which resulted in me going into children's social care when I was 12. And from that, I was criminally exploited the whole entire time. I didn't come out of the... Actually, let me tell you something. I lived in every corner of England. So, I think that's very important. Yeah, no, I did. I've lived in every corner of England. The only part I haven't lived in is the northeast. I've lived in North Wales, actually, and South Wales. I've lived in every corner of England, apart from the northeast. I've lived in Essex. I would
How
be
did that happen?
Well, I think they're idiots. The social care system does not... No, children's social care system is absolutely ridiculous. Who places someone from Devon in a place full of criminally exploited young people? What am I going to learn there? I'm not going to learn an education. I'm going to learn how to commit crime, aren't I? So make it make sense.
Well,
but
you look like a proper young man, Josh.
I am now. I am
how
now.
did that happen that
So
you turned
obviously,
around?
I tried joining the army a few times, kept on getting rejected. I don't know why. They never gave me a precise reason. And I really wanted to join the army, but thinking about it now, I don't know if I would have made the best soldier because I have got a mind of my own. So I decided to take up boxing instead. And whilst boxing, I was still being criminally exploited. And one day I had enough. I had enough of it. So I got on a plane. I flew to Ireland, stayed with family there for a bit. And then I flew to Italy, stayed with family there for a bit. And I realised that there's more to life than running around selling drugs. And I came back to England and there was a girl, I'm not going to name her. I met her. Her dad is a copper. And he gave me the idea to use my life to help young, vulnerable people that are being criminally exploited.
Hey, Doug, hit the applause button for Josh, will you?
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like your accent.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to sound like this
Is
in
Doug
real
going to
life.
hit the applause button?
Well, do you know what?
Hey!
Awesome, Doug. Give
So
an applause to you, Doug,
let's
huh?
let's bring you back. So, how did you get hold of us? And just
Right,
tell us the story
so-
you've talked about.
I only just got an education, and in my English, we were taught to handwrite letters. Obviously, I know now you're meant to write them on a laptop and then print them, but I didn't know this at this point. So I hand wrote these letters. So a lad was murdered in Exmouth by my old peers, bear in mind. My old peers murdered this boy. And the next day I thought, I need to get on the ball. So all I did was 4 a.m, I woke up. I couldn't sleep. It was, it was really playing with my brain. So I wrote these letters, sent them all off straight away. And the only counsellor that got back to me with I'm going to call it a sophisticated reply, because there were other replies, but it was a load of rubbish. They didn't care. The other parties. They did not care. They did not show any care in what they wrote to me. And I find it out of order.
Now what happened then?
Councillor Michael Thief. Sorry. Councillor Michael Thief Cook got a hold of me with a very sophisticated reply. It had me very intrigued in politics and how the world works. And then here I am. So
Perfect. And Neil, how did Josh get a hold of you then?
Okay, so then he wrote me an email. I think that was on Sunday. Am I correct? So Michael gave me a little bit of a background on Joshua. So I wrote to Joshua. I said, give me a phone call and we can talk. Within 5 minutes, the gentleman rung up. So I was just looking at him. I'm not trying to change people's policies, what they're going to vote. But what he said to me was about reform. So, Josh, I'm going to hand this back to you because you're a very interesting young man. And this is what we're here for. It's not about old people like me who can only do so much. We want the young people to stand up, to put themselves forward, right? And people like Joshua are what we are all about.
Yeah,
Joshua,
Josh, if you can say
add
that
it back
in
to
30
you.
seconds, then you'll
right,
be a
so
star.
I read through the reform contracts, whatever it's called, and I seen the one about kids involved with crime. And what I took from it is lock them up until they get their education, which would have worked for me. It would have worked for me, and they don't do that. But it's what's needed because government is too soft these days, and we need some hardness.
That's a great story. Thank you, Josh. Neil, anything to add before we move on?
Yeah, no, so I've said to Joshua today, we're going to bounce around. It's been a very exciting day. Tony and I have got a lot to say. We're trying to get it so we don't go off track. But Joshua, please interrupt, put your mind, emotion, whatever you feel, into the conversation over the next period of time.
Thank you very much, Neil. So we're going to move on to another section, which is basically where Tony and Neil get to run down and actually what they've been doing. They're not just another pretty face. They don't just take your paycheck, but they actually do things for you. And actually, there's a team in our underground bunker, Tony. Okay.
Oh yeah, don't forget
We
that.
used to have a campaign team of about 30 people, and now that we're not campaigning, we have extracted 7 of those leaders. And we meet every other week, sometimes every week, actually, and we're focused on supporting Neil and Tony in their projects, doing research, doing marketing to get the word out. And I'm super proud that that I have the opportunity of working with them. And we're going to keep doing that. And along the way, our branch is being reconstituted, and we're going to be coming into fighting mode pretty soon here to prepare for the elections next year. So yeah, anyway, okay, thank you very much.
I think that's enough applause right now.
I think the crowd's getting a bit carried away there.
Yeah,
So,
he's found a new gadget.
Yeah, hey Doug, is it possible you can go back to the other slide? But if you can't, no big deal, okay? Okay, so that was, what you guys are seeing is a picture or saw, there you go. Good thing I'm compos mentis. That's a picture of all the people that came to the day of the election, actually, May 2nd.
The result.
That's in front of my house, believe it or not. But and we had everybody together, an army of reform people. And just, I know I'm straying off, but I just want to mention to you, interesting, the night before when we were looking at the ballots when they came in, a lot of the reform ones were marked really hard with a black felt tip pen or something. That indicates how people really care about Exeter. Right? So, Neil, why don't we move on? You can take that off now, Doug, eh? And hopefully it'll flip to either myself or Neil. He's going to start talking about his accomplishments here.
Yeah, okay. So, first of all, we'll talk about today later on. That's very interesting. What we've been looking at, one of the we keep talking about is stagecoach performance. We've already discussed that there's a lot of roadworks going around, right? But what we're doing is a deep dive into their performance, collating evidence, what they're not doing, what they are providing. And it's not to shove blame onto Stagecoach because, it's a big beast. But we are paying them, I think, I look at the figure exactly, 4.2 million a year. We just need to justify what we're paying for. And we're looking at the contract or the manager who overruns the contract. Because if they're not delivering, they have to tell us why they're not delivering.
Thank you, Neil. And Doug, you can take that off now. Thank you. I think also to add that we had a meeting last night, didn't we, with a very talented man that knows accounting back and forward. You can take that slide off, Doug. Thanks. And we're going to be focused on getting the go ahead, Neil, and sort that out, please. We're going to be focused on getting. We're going to be focused. Excuse me. We're going to be focused on asking to find out who the contract manager is from the county side that actually manages that contract. Because with my experience, oftentimes we always focus on the service provider, but we don't actually hold the contract manager to account and start asking that person questions. So that's our first protocols. Thanks for sorting that out, Neil. So the next topic is the interesting energy center. And Doug, you've got a slide you can flip up there, right? What about those pipes, Neil? We on the case there?
Okay, as I said last week, the chairman of Exeter Planning basically said on that day, and you can see that on the video link to Exeter City Council, that the pipes across the river are nothing to do with the heat source pump. Okay, so last week I told you I wrote to the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman wrote back saying, yes, they can't look at it yet until I write to Exeter City Council. So I've wrote a complaint to Exeter City Council, which basically replicates near enough the same letter I've sent to the Ombudsman. They have to reply to me. So once they reply to me, then I shove another letter to the Ombudsman. We're not happy. Okay, we're talking about the river. We're talking about wildlife, bats. They've broken all the rules.
Can I add to that, Neil?
Yes.
Now, I was at the planning meeting with you and Tony in August 4th, I think I remember. And interesting thing is that somewhere along the way, one of the other councillors, Labour of course, told you that those pipes had nothing to do with the energy center. Well, guess what? Now they've put in an application through the highways department to connect those pipes that they're putting in on the road to the energy center. Voila, right?
Yeah.
And another tidbit is about maybe a week ago, I met with a very highly skilled accountant that knows a lot of different aspects about some of the service provision of this. I won't go too much into that to protect the sources. But there's a lot of concerns we have, and this is a big focus of mine to help Neil get to the bottom of this. Right, Neil?
Yeah, and to the chairman of the planning, I did send you an email right after the planning, and I'm still waiting for your reply. I dare say you're very busy, but if you could reply to that email, it'd be appreciated.
Okay.
Because my constituency need answers.
And next week maybe I'll write to that person, and we can name that person. I would think possibly. Right?
We won't name people if
Okay.
we have strict rules not to name or shame, and I think we should stick by them rules.
Okay. Well, you're a better man than I am. Yeah. And what about in Alphington? There was some discussion from the council level about whether or not they wanted to sell the Grimes field. What are you doing there?
Okay, Grimes feels very contentious. So this is where I stand right now. I stand on the fence because I'm dealing with 3 different parties in Alphington, and each one has either a different idea for Grimes field or what they don't want it because it comes with risk. And what I mean by risk, insurance, maintenance, and this means people getting involved, right, and money they haven't got. So we're still working on Grimesfield, and the 3 parties, I think they all know who they are. Let's get together. I don't care if there's any differences. Sit around the table, and we can either scrub it, ignore Grimesfield, or we can get some security from Exeter Council saying they're not going to build on it. But that's what I would suggest for the people.
And I'm going to give you a little plug here, Neil, okay? Because most of you all don't know this, but Neil played, I guess I'm not sure what I can say, but I'll try to make it plain vanilla. But you played a role 3 times in Afghanistan where you were basically responsible for going in and forging relationships with the indigenous population, if you want to call it that, in advance of all the different troops. So it was your job to forge these relationships, and that's why you're very skilled, along with your brother Tony, at what you're doing, bringing the parties together to achieve a result, right?
Yeah, that's very complimentary, actually. Yeah, so at the end of the day, we're all individuals. We all have different views. But, yeah, my job was to go around to get ground truth, which then was relayed back in order to understand what the people required.
Well, Neil, I'm going to interrupt you. You're a bit too humble, man, okay? Because not only did that once, but they were so good at it, they invited you back 2 more times, and you agreed, right?
Yeah, it was a team effort, though. So, there was 17 other soldiers next to me.
Fantastic.
And some other.
So what are these motions that you and Tony have been putting in today? Yeah?
Do you want to do them or me?
Tony?
Well, some of the ones are the removing of food waste for the mandatory completed DCC planning. In other words, the food that isn't sold by supermarkets that is close to its sell-by date, to get that collected and distributed in some sort of way amongst the people who do need it.
Good show.
Without paying. Pavement vegetation, I think we've covered that enough. We won't bring on that one today. Tackling something that is very close to my heart, which is the ADHD crises and how long it takes for a child to be diagnosed.
Yeah, I've got one on that because it took 18 years for me to get diagnosed.
I was going to say 2 to 3, so that's an awful long time.
Yeah. And that's because I lived everywhere.
Even you've got to say, Josh, what a difference it makes when you are diagnosed.
Yeah, honestly, I would never have... I mean, I don't even know if I would have got educated without my diagnosis.
Thank you,
I
Josh.
don't think I would have got educated. So.
Neil, carry on with these motions if you don't mind.
So
we're going to move on here, right?
Right, so it's quite passionate. So I say sorry to Ronnie. Ronnie turned up this morning. She's one of the instigators. She's the one who put me on this path. But the motion we put forward was removing food waste through mandatory completed DCC planning training. So basically, that's incorrect. Removing food waste through mandatory from government policies, right? So that was put forward by, I had 4 motions, so I didn't want to give all the motions because you'd get bored of my voice after a while. Even I get bored of my own voice. But I asked my seconder, Jacqueline Fry, brilliant. She put that motion forward. The conversation with all the councillors, and I stress all the councillors, was very, very good. The feedback was very good. And then I ended the motion with a closing speech. The input from everybody was valuable. We're pushing this forward, and the motion was accepted, where we will write a letter to the MP in order to change the law regarding the French law in 2016.
Thank you very much, Neil. Tony, can you give us an update on the weed eradication efforts that
Well,
you
I
and,
mean,
your brother are?
I was going to sort of skip by that because I think we've covered the weeds enough for now.
I tell you,
Right.
hey Doug, could you flip that slide up? while I
Yeah,
answer what you
let's
said?
go back to, there was 3 other motions.
sorry,
There was
yeah.
3 other motions,
You got a
okay?
lot going on.
Yeah, there was 10 motions altogether, and some of the motions, which we'll talk about one of them in particular in a minute, but
You can take that off, Doug, for a second. Thanks.
we ran out of time. So we ran out of time, and 3 of our motions, they asked if we would defer them, which the chair was very respectful to me, and I agreed that we defer the motions for the next meeting. One is about pavement and contribution money towards getting rid of the
Fantastic.
and the second was finding where we can use public photography. Very contentious, but that's going to go forward. And the one that Tony was going to present was the ADHD.
Yes, I mean, I was a bit upset about that one, but it was deferred, so it will be coming up as a priority, I suspect, at the next full-on assembly.
Okay. Okay, super. Anything else to add on your motions, Neil? Because we can move on.
Yeah, I don't want to diverse, but there was a very. We'll come back to one of the motions quickly.
Go ahead.
Right, so
go ahead now if you like.
we all sign up to these policies, and
The
you
code
know,
of conduct.
yeah, there was one policy where it was 0 tolerance to hate crime, which I totally. The councillor Yusuf stood up and he presented it really, really well, and you know, he portrayed a really sad story that some of his friends, university, very intelligent people, whether you're intelligent or not, should not be exposed to any form of racist abuse. They were actually physically attacked. All right. His motion was very, very good. And I have to be careful what I say, but I actually stood up and I said, you've got to be careful how we define hate crime. But I did say I would support him. Right. Until another gentleman stood up and basically bracketed Conservative and Reform as racist, which then the actual conference did take a little bit of a twist, right? Which a twist I would not expected. And one of our councillors stood up and defended that she felt offended by one of the words, or the words were said. To that end, Councillor Yusuf did, and I will say gave a very good presentation, but when it came to the vote, he basically said, I want the vote recorded. And what that means, and he used a word, and I got to be careful what I said, he used a word, and if you don't vote for it, you could be whatever word he used. Okay?
Well, I can imagine what he said. Then.
So it's recorded. And what that means, if you don't really understand, is every name is recorded on a register, what way you voted. That's public knowledge. Okay? I abstained. Tony?
I abstained as well, and I was going to vote for it, but I didn't agree.
Yeah, it wasn't the fact about the motion, it was the fact that how it was presented at the end. If you don't vote for it, you're a
rude,
X. And if you know, so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So
it's not the way to build bridges.
No, and it actually got ugly. And I have to tell you this, half the Reform walked out because, you know, we're not racist. We want change. We want to get rid of people like that who actually comment on this divide.
Well,
they actually divided.
That's dividing what they said.
They actually, it was going really, really well until
They've contradicted themselves, haven't they?
Yeah, and he's a lovely, respectable man, and I got total respect. I just think, you know, honestly, you've got to be very careful how
I think
you
passion
present.
got the best of him.
Yeah, maybe the passion did, but it actually, you know, we're not here to divide. We're here to work together. All right, and you know, I didn't leave.
Okay.
You know, so that's it.
Thank you so much. Well, let's pick up on that again next time because it sounds exciting to me. We'll make a little special mini.
Well, you can go online and download it and see the whole.
Yeah, download. You'll see us sitting there
I'll do that right after the podcast here, I'm sure.
I'm sure it'll make the news.
Okay, so let's move on here a little bit. Doug, can you flip that graffiti thing up there? Okay, so we're not just another pretty face. Even though the branch is being reconstituted, we have an amazing team of great leaders from the campaign team that we had, and we're going to form a graffiti removal team. And Neil and Tony are going to meet with the council, and we're going to get some things going here. We're not just going to sit around and do nothing, okay? You can take that off. Thanks very much, Doug. So, okay, and just to wrap that little segment up very quickly, let's talk about, I think initially at the podcast I said, isn't it embarrassing? Shouldn't it be embarrassing to the MP when he drives around seeing all the weeds? Neil, do you want to pick up on that little discussion?
Oh yeah, because I know we make a joke about the weed of the week, and we do this and that, but the motion put forward today was about trying to eradicate the weeds and have a bit more pride in the city, okay? And we can all talk about funding, but there is things we can use to eradicate these weeds, and this keeps going on and on and on. And I will tell you this: the damage these weeds will cause, you wish you actually sorted the problem out sooner rather than later.
Thank you. Hey, Doug, could you skip the 2 slides, if you don't mind? We're going to skip Tony's face there, okay? Bring it back to the previous one, I think.
I think it all boils down to them saying it's
Maybe
going to
before.
cost too
There
much
you
as
go.
well. But obviously, in the
Thanks.
future, it's going to cost more.
Thank you, Tony. That's perfect. So we're going to give it a little brief news updates. And I think maybe, guys, maybe what we'll do in the future is focus more on local news updates rather than the national dysfunction, because everybody's a bit tired of that, I think. At least I'm tired. Because look at that. America can do it, but the conservatives couldn't. Say no more, right? They tried for 14 years. They didn't do it. Next one, Doug, you can pop up if you can. Some news about the asylum seekers. Well, it's maybe one before that. There we go. The Epping Hotel in Essex is back in the news, where Mr. Lord Judge, Mr. Bean says that no, we've got to consider not the local residents, Josh, but we have to consider where they're going to go if they're not going to stay in the hotel. So anyway, have an applause button for that, Doug. Yeah? Yeah.
Well, going for that, I did see on the news it was saying that the refugee rights, and quote me if I'm wrong, are more important than the local rights.
I've seen that.
Okay, now there shouldn't be either or either. Now, I understand we said before, we've got to house people. We can't have them living on the streets. And I don't care if they're refugees or anybody or ex-husband. Nobody should be living on the streets. But the rights, one higher than the other, where's the balance? If you say equal rights, then I could agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. But when you say their rights are higher when we pay our taxes, but going back to the judgment, it had to be called that way. This is my opinion, because where are you going to put them?
Yeah. Well, Neil, doesn't that portray the failed management policy of the whole system? They shouldn't be selecting a hotel at the airport where nobody can stay in the airport.
Right. Let's skip. We've covered this subject before, and I think really, we can go on and on and on, and everybody knows what's going on, and in the end, hopefully it'll sort itself, but it takes
great.
time.
So let's flip up the next slide if you could, Doug. Okay, just a quickie on that one, Neil. I won't belabor it, okay, because you and Tony are the boss. But I guess the protest at the airport is still going on, and interesting little thing. But we got a councillor up there that is a conservative councillor that is up there protesting against the occupants of the hotel. But what did her party do for 14 years? Say no more. Okay.
Yeah, even though I said I was going to come off the subject, this is what started the different direction. I'm being careful what I say, guys. We had a really lovely meeting this afternoon, and then somebody said the protest, the conservative councillor who went there, and then he bracketed reform.
Well, he was essentially saying the reform were there as well.
And but it was actually made by...
there was nobody from the branch.
No one at all.
Did not
No, but it was a
there.
good
There might have
discussion
been
from Jacqueline
public
Fry.
members.
So Jacqueline Fry said, hang on a minute. When you have football supporters, but you also have football hooligans. And either or either side have these type of people. You can protest, okay? And, you know, I believe in peaceful protest. But you've actually reminded me, guys, okay, I don't care if you're conservative. And I know Ed Hill is going up there this weekend. He voted for zero tolerance. I abstained. But let's just get this right. The families up there, okay, I don't know who they are, and I give them respect. But should we be protesting against the hotels, and this is going to be really, people can and comment on this, or should we should be protesting about the government?
That's
the
right.
government came into power on all these promises. Now, when you lie, okay, and I'm not going to talk about people say I did fraud. Wait out, guys. That will be cleared in time, right? But the government lied. They're in power. They're not delivering. So we should be protesting peacefully regarding having either another vote, a general election, all right, because statistics say reform are out there and we want change. And Labour are not doing what they promise. And I'm sorry to harp on, guys, but all these protests, you're wasting your energy, all right? You're wasting police resources, all right? Go to your local MPs, go to them, complain, go to Parliament, do whatever you do. But I think you're just wasting your energy.
Couldn't have said it any better.
So you know what I mean? Yeah,
well,
what's your input?
let's,
As a 21-year-old,
What
what's
is
your
the
input?
point in protesting against, well, again, the hotels when you've got access to your MPs?
We ought to be
It's not
protesting.
rocket science, is it?
We ought to be protesting at the Labour Party headquarters on Clifton Road. We ought to be protesting outside Steve Race's offices.
He ignored me
Because
twice.
He's responsible
He's what?
for the.
He ignored me twice.
He's responsible
he?
for this mess,
Sends me-
right? Anyway, I think we need to move on. As you say,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry. I'm a bit passionate. You know, I respect everybody's protests and everybody left and right, but you know, I think we're barking at the wrong tree.
So, okay, so we're going to have another slide here coming up, but I don't know if you all saw any of the Clint Eastwood movies, but the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? We got some great, we got some great artists, just like graffiti artists, okay? There's some great ones and there's some really bad ones, okay? Here's the good ones are amazing flags. I think Matt Sykes from Tamath shared via Facebook some flags down at Tamath. Thank you, Matt. Hat tip to you. Bad one is to go on the road sign. You can flip that back up, Doug, if you can. But it's really not too cool to do it on the road sign. And even worse, if you put the flipping water-based paint so that it washes off the next day, right, Neil?
Yeah, Tony, you can add and I'll add a little bit in a minute.
Thank you, Doug.
Tony, about this.
Right. I had a lot of response to this when I put it on. I'm not saying I'm against a very nice Red Cross putting on a roundabout.
Flags, you mean?
And flags, yeah. But when it's sprayed on and it's sprayed on people's houses, it's graffiti. And that's it. And the highway's attitude is they will not remove it. They will wait for the weather to remove it because quite simply they are inundated with people reporting this. And I know it's controversial, but I would, and I've said it all along, I'd rather people hang flags.
Well, can I add to that, Tony? I think you're absolutely right because, in fact, I've spoken to two people in the last few days about that, and they think it's a turnoff. And you know what? They were Labor voters that voted for reform. So if we have these some of this graffiti going on, it's
Can
not
I
gonna be-
I also
it's
point
not gonna
out?
be constructive.
Can
to
I
your
also
achieving
point
our
out the people who are ripping these
aspirations.
flags down? They're the ones you should be questioning.
Out of order, that.
Yeah.
You know.
Completely out of order.
Let's go back to graffiti. So ever since we've been councillors, we've seen graffiti everywhere. Some kind lady asked me what my stance was on it. My stance is graffiti, whether it's a red, white background. Okay, it's graffiti when it's put onto public buildings, it's put onto signs, it's put on roundabouts. Flags, I'm happy with. Flags, I'm very proud. And, you know, I know a lot of servicemen who have served their country, and I know a lot of people who haven't. But that flag is our flag. So please stop doing the graffiti because I'm having problems trying to get the first lot of graffiti out of the way without having another lot of graffiti. And I'm having problems getting signs put up. I'm having problems getting yellow lines painted. All right, you're just adding more problems to it.
And I think Tony was absolutely right last week, because I think you were saying basically that if you don't watch out, we're going to get into graffiti war. Okay, tomorrow it's going to be the Palestinian
what
flag
colour
on
is
the
it going to be
roundabout.
put down? You know what I mean?
Yeah, stick a flag
And
up,
these-
and anybody can take it down, but don't stamp on it. Some lady was
So
stamping.
out of order.
Let's move on here, guys. We got some great discussions.
So what's the conclusion? Guys, stop the graffiti. We know what the message is. All right, let's just all work together.
We'll buy a flag from Amazon for £5. Put that up.
Yeah, put a flag up, yeah. But, we
tell
could
you
have
what,
flag of the week,
Lasts
actually,
forever
couldn't we?
then as well,
There we
doesn't
go.
it?
What about
Let's do
flag of the week? Who
Hey,
wants to
Week
do
of the
Fuck
week's
you, Neil.
gone.
Okay,
flag of the
have
week? Whoever's got the
another,
best position flag without
another
breaking the
slide,
law.
Doug, thanks.
All right, or knocking down lampposts. I'll give them a bottle
those
of wine. A
lampposts
bottle
look
of wine,
pretty-
okay?
Those lampposts look
Yeah,
pretty
sorry to
weak
get
me.
carried away there.
Okay, great. So
Have I thrown you out a bit?
I'm speechless for a change. Neil.
That's unusual for
Lost
you.
his moment, look.
Anyway, I picked this up earlier in the week, but apparently there are about 40. There are about 16,000 students every year, Tony. Okay, that they merrily study and have a good time and all that, and then when they get to the end of their studies, okay, they say, "I'm going to claim asylum," and there are 16,000 that have been approved. So now here's an interesting thing. That's a good slide there. So you got Yvette Cooper there, okay, with their interesting.
Well, it was a
thing there.
mistake, apparently. So.
And then Angela Rayner there is smoking a vape and having a nice glass of wine while she's not paying the stamp duty, right? Meanwhile, Josh here is suffering. Okay, Doug, what's another tasty here, because we got to move on, otherwise we won't have much to share there. So okay, so evidently they didn't get the maths right. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 2. They didn't figure out that the council expansion, where Exeter City is going to gobble up all the other neighboring areas, actually doesn't save money.
Yeah, it'd be interesting when they emerge. If you look, Devon County Council, I think they've just borrowed another 47.5 million. We're now over 500 million owed. I think the interest on that is £70,000 a day. That's our money, by the way. Okay, and I'm not saying it's Lib Dems, but we
It's
should be
something
getting
that
we
needs
should be
to be-
getting worse in debt.
Yeah.
We should be managing our debt.
Yeah.
And we could all stand here and say, well, you do a better job or I can do a better job.
Yeah.
But, I will be looking at the transport, the transport bills. I'd be looking at the cycle lanes. Not saying we shouldn't have cycle lanes, but £495,000 can do a lot of, help.
A little piece of financial.
Well, we got told, when we went to a meeting once, full council, try and find places to save money. There aren't any, but there are. Neil's already pointed out 2 now. You look hard enough, you will find it.
Well, we just need to look at contracts. Okay, yeah.
Okay, great. So how about another good slide there, Doug, and we'll finish the news up, okay? So reform is not tired of winning, and Exeter reform isn't tired of winning. We, unfortunately, our Labour colleagues weren't the populists weren't enamored with them during the May election, and every one of them lost their seat. Too bad, really.
Yes, I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah, and so we have 4 councillors elected plus an ECC councillor. So we're not tired of winning. In fact, we got a great team here, 7 people that are we're really making hay in the sunshine. Anyway, enough about that, right? What do you think, guys?
Yeah, well, my primary aim now, my hands have been tied and they're tied for a little bit longer, and I'll explain that later on. But once we get the beast going, all right, you'll be getting a brochure out 4 times a year. That's in the process of nearly finished. That's been designed, giving everybody the update in our area. But our primary goal is to seek candidates, all right, in order to stand for the election next year. That's if it goes ahead. If Labour's running scared, they might even cancel the elections. I don't know. I mean, they've already cancelled a lot up north. So, let's just question, what's going to happen. But for a minute, our mission is we need councillors, we need volunteers, as in step up to the
We
plate.
need candidates, don't we?
Yeah, we need candidates. I mean, I've met some lovely candidates, and I've got 2 or 3 on the plate. But all I say, guys, we can sit in armchairs like we are now, and we can bump our gums, but we need your support, and we'll help you all the way.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take the next 10 minutes of your time, and we're going to talk about some issues which are really important to young people. And Josh is here to talk about these with us. And we've identified that there are 5 key aspects to challenges that young people have, 18 to 30. One is mental health crisis, COVID, thank you very much for that. Economic problems, affordability, in other words, housing, employment, and violence. So good luck, Josh, with that.
Thank you.
But so let's talk about the first one, which is the mental health crisis. There's a little slide there, if you can see on the right side, that in the latest year, young people's, if you want to call it let's say mental challenges would be a better way, has really increased. I mean, have you had any challenges, Josh?
Well,
with the system or with
the thing is,
keeping positive?
I'm a very positive person myself, but I see people and they're very depressed. There's so many depressed people these days, and in my age group, it's everywhere. So yeah, I can see that definitely. A lot needs to be done to help young people with their mental health, and there's a lot of things that are free that could help them as well. That's the maddest bit about it. There's a lot of things that are free that could help them, but I won't go into that because we'll be here all day.
But why do you think all of a sudden, maybe because I was ignorant of it, but I notice now that there's a lot of younger people, all different ages, percentage-wise, has it gone up, that there's more?
I just think that a lot of...
Or is it the pressures of life?
The thing is, most people's activities these days is sitting in front of their phone scrolling all day, and what does that do to their brain? Do you know what I mean? It's
no interaction.
People don't go outside and, work on themselves, go to the gym and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's simple things like that that could be done.
I've never suffered from mental health, but I have done mental health first aid, and I understand it. I understand it's not a thing you can see or, like a code. And the more you do your research, the more you appreciate things need the help. But the question is, why have we got so many people now? I mean, are we a sick nation?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that because, again...
But do you think work would help people? So we got 9 million people out of work.
Do you know what? You just reminded me about upping the tax bracket to 20 grand. I think that's the right word. I think that would help a lot because that benefits trap is a real thing.
Yeah, you really mean reform on about raising it to 20 grand.
That's
but going back to my question,
do
you think work would aid a lot of these people?
Yeah, definitely. And teaching them how to get an education, teaching them about learning, because learning has helped me a lot.
But you said you had no education first.
No, I didn't.
And so tell me that. Tell me that journey.
So I got into, I decided, because I wanted this girl, her dad's a copper, I needed to make sure I was impressing her father at the same time, do you know what I mean? So I just got my head down, and then I realised I actually loved learning, and it only took a few months for me to start enjoying it, and I don't want to stop learning now. So I think teaching people how to learn is a good thing to do because people don't know how to learn, and I think that's the main issue. They don't know how to learn.
Brilliant. So right, we're going to move on now to section B, and I don't want to cut you off.
That's
You're very
interesting.
interested.
That's all right.
And I think we're going to
we'll
be doing more work together anyway.
Good to
Rob?
hear.
Yeah, well, along those lines, thanks, Josh. I did a little research, but apparently 48%, in other words, half of the young people, I call them, which is around age 18 to 21, are in precarious financial straits. And apparently those under 30, 77%, this is a shocking statistic, have their expenditure focused on just essentials. So if they lose their job, they're really in trouble. Have you had any challenges? Have you seen anybody with challenges?
I am definitely, I'm not going to go into my financial situation, but I am, when it comes to money, I am struggling. Do you know what I mean? I'm very lucky to be in a council flat, cheap rent. I'm very lucky. If I wasn't in a council flat and I was renting out a room, I don't think I'd be doing well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah, so that affects you mental health, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, I've been homeless. I've done all of that nonsense, and I know how to live like that. I know how to make the best of it. So
I mean, you're seeing a slide. Well, the slide that you had before was a good one, Doug. But anyway, about evidently we can afford to to house people in hotels, but other people are not. People that are in the UK, I'm sure you've heard that theme.
But going back to
the
poverty,
other thing.
do you-
No. This is
What about-
the thing. I have a friend who lives in a supported accommodation,
Yeah.
and he's on universal credit, and he has to give half of that straight to the company. So I think it's like 280 quid. He has to give like 120 a month to hit
Yeah,
the
and he
provider.
has no control over that, does he?
And then he has to, like, I don't think housing benefit pay for it. I'm pretty sure he has to. So I'm pretty sure housing benefits pay for the rent, and then he has to pay bills on top of that, and then he's got like 150 quid to
live on.
And he's not educated. He's in and out of prison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He hasn't got the drive, and we could give him the drive. Do you know we could? But it's
But all these factors like food going up, your gas is going up, electric going up, that stops you from even getting on the ladder. And I do feel sorry for the younger generation.
Yeah,
You know?
flip that one up because Neil's just walking right into that topic here. Apparently, it takes now. No, the next one, please. For people under 40, it takes 19 years to even afford to buy a house. So people are really suffering, and the days of having a house are quickly going
They're
away.
over.
You're living in flats. Tony, what do you think about that?
I look at two of my children who are in
Thank you,
50-50
Doug.
accommodation, and I've looked at mortgages for if you were to buy a house now, and I said I can't comprehend paying that much every month for 25 years, 35 years, even ones that you pass on to your children now.
Yeah, but the system's broken, I think.
100%.
Because you've got the banks controlling your mortgages. You take out a mortgage and they can push it up, push it down, put it sideways, hold it, put it on for 5 years. All right, so it's not a level playing field.
No.
You know, I think young people should get the money. They have a set 1-2% interest. The banks are making money. All right, they're all making money, and I just think it's too much controlled by the bigger people controlling the youth, controlling us,
100%.
and they don't want you to do well.
They don't realise that a lot of people my age are starting to realise that, well, I'm going to say it, going to the right is the way to go, because this left wing stuff is not. It's not.
Well,
doing it
going
for us.
socialism doesn't work, but hard work does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So let's take a look at the next slide because that fits in very nicely. Here we go. Just about a million 18 to 24-year-olds are not in what do you call it? Not in education or employment or training. And I have just for you reading buffs out there, read a book called Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. And what kind of the theme of that book is that everybody says, "Oh my gosh, you're making too much money." All these people that develop Microsoft, they develop eBay. We can't have that. And so what happens is, well, all those companies go to San Francisco and with all their jobs, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have many tech companies over here in the UK is because of that sort of attitude that, oh my gosh, you're making too much money. So people say, okay, fine. If you think about that way about me, then I'll just take my companies elsewhere. And that's a great book, by the way, Atlas Shrugged. So that's why I put that picture up there. What do you think, guys? Any comments about that?
No. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next slide there, Doug, please. Okay, I sort of put that on there because I have two people in my family actually that really sort of are coming around to say, hey, why can't I have what my dad has worked hard to get? It's going to take me. I'm probably never going to get there. And previous slide, maybe, Doug. Thanks. Or you can put, yeah, there you go. Thanks very much. So anyway, that's what we're, hopefully here to deliver is to restore the greatness to Britain, right, Tony?
Yeah.
And the dreams, to let, people like Josh dream again. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah. I mean, we've lost our way.
imagination has been drilled out of the youth. There's no imagination. It's gone.
Back to Josh here, Doug.
It
Thanks.
needs to be
No,
some-
I like that. But is it too late? That's the question.
Well,
You know?
Yeah.
Can we restore it? Can we restore the dream?
I think
The government are controlling us too much. You know, the banks are controlling us. The food supermarkets control. We have no say.
There's too much control.
We're just cow.
There's too much
Yeah.
control.
So we've got a slide up there, guys.
100%.
We're going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes, but we have a slide up there that you've heard a lot of moaning, but it's actually sharing the real stories about Josh with you, and this is what our party is going to do to hopefully just take the step in the right direction. Thank you very much, Doug. Neil, would you like to race through those bullet points on the screen there, please? Bottom page 10, thanks.
you see it?
Yeah, I can see I'm not that blind. Reduce business taxes, we already understand that. We're looking at raising income tax threshold of 20,000, which Joshua agrees
Yeah,
with. Remember, Joshua's
definitely.
21. Scrap the VAT on energy bills. You know, they whack VAT on. They're whacking other bills on for doing the green
it all
energy.
circulates in this economy anyway.
Yeah, and they also charge you rent for having a meter. Am I correct? Or a charge for the meter. So every month you've got to pay for having that meter.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a.
Okay, stop ranting. Keep on going. What are we doing to fix that? Okay, stop the moaning.
I'm not trying to moan, actually.
Okay,
I am quite
bottom
a
of
positive
page 10,
person.
since Doug put
Right,
up-
what we're
put
trying
that
to do,
screen.
going to listen to people like Joshua.
Okay,
We
fantastic.
need to listen to the young people
Yeah.
because it's
That's
their
it.
future.
We
not
are
ours.
waking up and we're tired of being controlled. That's all it is. We want to be. We have ambition, and you lot are taking it away from us.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so now it's question and answer time. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to share with you what some of the comments and questions were from last week. We weren't able to get to yours during the session today, but we'll pick it up next week. Sorry about that, but just wanted to. One comment was from Karen, who told us, "Were these podcasts produced by the Dream Team?" And yes, the answer is absolutely.
Can't
it
you
is.
tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, just right. We're sorry about the pictures flying everywhere. We are learning.
We're blaming on-
the guy back. He could pull his hair out, but he got no hair. All right, so we're anyone who wants to
yeah.
volunteer.
I think he just likes pressing buttons.
Anyway, so let's go down the Q&A. Thanks to Pete, although I didn't understand your comment, but I'll put it out there because you're the only comment, Pete, maybe one of the few. Polluting cars, are we talking electric, traffic light restriction, creating excessive pollution, restricting movement? Ooh, that's a mouthful there. I don't know.
Are we talking about that?
Maybe put a comment on there and tell us what you're thinking.
Well, you could also comment that you put another 3,000 buildings in. No, yeah, all the vehicles in Alfredton coming through, they're slow stop. Look at all the
Yeah.
admission is being delivered. Yeah, I mean, it's not green, is
Yeah.
it? Come on.
Thank you, Neil. And thanks to Anthony, who made a comment. Don't we already have a branch? And I think I responded and I said, yes, we do have a branch. Guys, it's being reconstituted. And we're going to be in fighting mode very soon. And wait till May 2026 to see the results, okay? Anthony, I hope that answered your question, man, okay? And somebody actually gave me a compliment for a change, Tony. He
All
said,
right.
Rob, stick to hosting these podcasts. Don't do anything else in the branch. You're doing a great job. Don't get involved with anything else, okay?
That wasn't yourself, was it, or not?
I don't know if
Yeah.
somebody's
It
telling you
wasn't-
from above, don't do
wasn't
anything
Mr.
else.
Rob,
or,
was it, who
or
actually
whether
said
I'm
that?
stuck
Now,
with
just
this or
going back
what.
to that, Reformers Live and Kick In, they're just getting it all in place, ready to launch the campaign for next year.
Okay. Well, who's going to talk about Weed of the Week and who got that?
Well, we didn't have
Neil?
many people coming in. The
think it's
person
run its
called Lee,
course.
who's going to send me a picture, which
Yeah.
sounded he had a 2-foot weed. And Lee, you could have won, but you didn't.
You
send
didn't
it.
send a picture in,
one's
so
so-
this is an effort by somebody called Rob, which
Yeah, I trust
is a
all you
very
guys
weedy
because-
weed.
Well, that looks
Because,
like, what do they call it?
Well, I don't know what it is. Because
we-
I-
It's either,
Marijuana.
look, the way I
Marijuana.
look at it, the way I look at it with that one, it's either a very big curb and a very big weed, or
well,
And please don't.
Yeah.
I'm not asking people to grow marijuana in the
it
road.
did
Right?
look like marijuana.
Well, I
didn't it?
can't, Rob. I can't give you weed of the week. That's
cheating.
That's the
Yeah,
smallest
it's
weed
rubbish,
I've
That
ever
is
mate.
a bit of, that's the wrong sort of weed,
well,
to be
I'll tell you what,
honest.
I'm sure that somebody will get out there and fertilize it. And it'll
They'll be smoking
that's
it
the way you
soon.
won last week. Week's
I did
award,
win
Tony.
Yeah,
last week,
I think
yeah.
if you want to carry on with the week, we will, guys. But I think we should have flag of the week, and that's not graffiti. Okay, I'm on
Yeah.
about a proper flag flying
I
in
think-
your
I
own
think weed
house
of the week-
without breaking the rules.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, any closing comments or any special thoughts, guys? Josh, just a quick thought from you.
The youth are waking up, and I can't wait for you all to see it, really. And that's everything. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. I think we deserve applause for that one, Doug, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. Tony, you're looking at me. You gotta
I think I'm going to say what Neil's going to say, which is, if you've got time, watch what happened at the assembly, the General Assembly today, to see the reactions and see what actually happens over the 4.5 hours we had to sit through.
It was more than 4.5 hours.
Was it? Oh, I must have missed a bit.
Is that available on video?
It's on YouTube. It's all filmed. It does get rather spicy near the end.
Okay, well, did they pick that up through the council? Or how do they get that?
I believe it's done through the Devon County Council website.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So it's all public.
So it's all public.
And
Most of the time, very boring. I think it turned very interesting, this one. And to be honest, I would say the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
it was the most interesting part.
Worth a watch.
Okay.
But going back to that, we're trying to work together. Reform is, there's 17 reform councillors. All right, Lib Dem control everything, so we're never going to win a vote. But I felt today it was a little bit intimidating, a little bit steering to try and smear us. That's what I used, trying to smear reform. And guys, to all
It was cheap
councillors,
tactics.
it was underhanded tactics.
Yeah.
And I blame an individual who could be in charge. It should have been stopped there and then. It should have been stopped.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, how does a councillor think they're going to work with fellow councillors if they perpetrate divisiveness?
Well, I like to think
I
it
don't
was
understand
An
one-off
individual's-
issue.
yeah.
I think it was a one-off. I like to think
Maybe it's
that.
a learning issue.
And not
It's a-
just what they all think.
Yeah. So
maybe there's some training that the individual could get, right?
yeah, and I also think that it should have been stamped on right away. And I work with the Greens, I work with the Lib Dems, I work with the Conservatives. We're all on different committees, and every person I've worked with so far, I get on well with, and they are.
You
lovely.
haven't worked with him, have you?
Well, I haven't worked with him, but at the end of the day, that was a little bit underhanded to smear.
Well, I thought it was cheap points, really.
Yeah,
I get cheap
but
points.
guys, watch it, and I'd like your feedback on that. Really.
Yeah, I'd like it as well.
Okay, so let's just do a little call to action, as you say, Neil, from time to time, okay? Which is basically the only way we're going to change this is by everybody out there supporting reform and the reform policies. And one of the key ways you can do that is by becoming a member. It's only £25. So give up, Domino's Pizza for the night. Become a member, and like I say, our
participate.
branch delivered a great result with our great campaign team. Thank you, Neil, for leading that in May. And we're going to reconstitute our branch. We're going to have some great leadership going forward. Stay tuned very shortly for that. We're really excited about that. And we have the Exeter City Council elections coming up next year, where there are 13 candidates, I believe, that we have to find. And I know we've already investigated that, haven't we, Tony? And I think we've got maybe 11 out of the 13. So we're way ahead of the game there. And what else can you add there, guys?
Well, briefly, the Reform Conference is coming up, and obviously we'll be up there. Hopefully pictures will be coming. We'll see what happens. It should be interesting.
Yeah, going back to reform policies or manifesto, nobody's going to agree with everything, okay? And we understand that, all right? But going back to Devon County Council, there's a strategic plan come out. It was mistakenly said that we all signed up for it or we all had input. That's not correct. We did not have, but yes, I did see it 5 days before, all right? But we had no input. So we're not working as a team. Lib Dem are controlling and running Devon County Council. Okay, so let's just put that out. But to look forward to, guys, right, we're looking for people to sponsor this. Okay, we're going to be running a business one, totally on businesses. So Paul Lafabrico, I'm coming to you. There's other people I'm going to come and see. So we will promote businesses. And if anybody wants to sponsor this, Rob?
Yeah, just get in touch with Neil Stevens, reformuk@gmail.com. And we're going to have a sponsor every week going forward. And don't forget to send in your topic for each next week. Now, next week, we're going to be having Tina Walker on board and an 18-year-old Cornwall councillor, Angus Black Crocker, come on board. We're really looking forward to it.